Hello, everybody. My name is Josh. Welcome to The Document. The Road to 100 Million, aka The Document. For those of you who don't know me, I am an entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, sound fancy, but I've started a number of businesses, including my own eBay businesses where I sell online, my own Shopify business, of course, this YouTube channel, and the AI business, the AI e-commerce listing business, List Easier, and then of course The Document, which is a vertical within List Easier, where we are listing $100 million worth of product, and we are tracking it live daily, which is why we call this The Document. So welcome to The Document. I'm going to click on my own live, as we always do, so that I can see everyone in the comment section, and I would like to welcome everyone, and I hope you're all doing well after the weekend. I have a number of things that I want to get to. So lots has happened over the weekend, and I want to get to some of it. I am excited. This year is going to be a big year. There we go. Eric Bressy says, hey there, biggest sales date so far of 2026, shipping 27 orders. Let's go. You got it all. It's just time now. And maybe I want to talk about that today. Maybe that's a good topic of conversation is time. Time. And that, you know what, Eric, you gave me a good topic. Time. 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 And doing it. Missy B, good morning to you. J.R. Rudeffer says, hola, ¿qué tal? I don't speak Spanish. I'm assuming that's Spanish and not Portuguese. That's how much I know. How's it going, says Alex? It's going well. And if that's what you asked me, J.R. Rodeffer, how's it going with you? Everything is going well. Beer King Picker, everything is going well. Lucky Finds 9264, welcome. Okay, everyone. Let's take a breath. Here we go. Let's start by doing the numbers. These numbers have not changed a lot. There's a reason for that. Number one, we're going to go here. Still two accounts. The two accounts are List Easier _books and List Easier _records. You can search those accounts on eBay and follow along just to ensure that we are doing what we say we're doing. We have a total of 1,989 listings. That's how many items we've listed to those two accounts. We have listed $52,535.11. This is now all in USD by popular demand. Everything in US dollars now. Over 52,000 listed. That's in 8 days, including the weekend days. Days live, 8 days. So we're including the weekend days. We don't work on the weekend, but we are including those days. And then, of course, revenue, $1,330. Our revenue barely changed over the weekend, and we're going to talk about why that is. So, to begin with, let's talk about the changes that have occurred in this business, the document. The changes that have occurred. So, this is for all of you operators who are following along, doing the same thing. I'm going to tell you the things that happened over the weekend and where we are now. Number one, payroll. Payroll is up and running. I had a meeting with a representative from WagePoint. They are running our payroll. Shauna O'Rourke, thank you very much for sitting with me. We are running payroll now, so everything is set up, ready to go. Payroll is taken care of, including our employer contributions and everything else. It's all set up and ready to go, so I feel really good about that. I like having things like that where the boxes get ticked, and I feel very confident that it's running correctly. Now, this number, why has this number not really changed? We have holds on our account. So we have visibility holds, but especially payment holds right now. This is because we're a new account, so most of our payments aren't going to occur until February. This was expected. Every account, all the List Easier accounts and my own personal account on eBay are all registered under the same social security number. So I have to give that information to them, driver's license, phone number, all this other stuff. I've registered both the List Easier accounts, but also my own personal account. Everything has died for me. And that is because these new accounts, we have a lot going up. They want to see that these things are getting to where they're supposed to go. So it says right on there that there are holds in place and that those holds are going to remain in place until delivery has taken place to the customer and they're reporting that there are no issues. I think the first holds come off February 10th. So we're expecting things to be slow until the holds come off. And now I'm expecting it to be slow on my account as well, which actually is okay because I have a lot going on. Things are busy right now. So I don't mind that my own personal account is really slow right now, but it's occurring anyway. So how are we going to react to this? Honestly, we're not. So we were expecting payment holds and, trust and safety holds and everything else. They're new corporate accounts. It's pumping up a lot of listings. We were expecting things to slow down like this, since, considering we're coming from nothing, from zero, and going full tilt. So we're going to wait for this to resolve over time, and we're just not going to change anything. We're going to focus on this number. This is something that I've always said is we stay focused on this number. The document, the Road to 100 Million, is all about this number. Everything else will fall in place. We find good inventory. We list it in volume. We use our own software, list easier, and we're pulling this number up. That's our only focus right now. And then maintaining strong customer metrics. Everything else will fall in place. So those two things. I had a meeting this morning with our accountant because taxes are coming up. So bookkeeping software, we are now adding a bookkeeping software so that everything can be done almost automatically. So that's a step that we're working on right now. So that will be what we use for our accounting or our bookkeeping for the business for 2026. So that checks off another box. Once that's complete, we're not there yet. We have some onboarding to do, but the bookkeeping, accounting, the financial accounts, and the payroll software should all be in place by the end of this week or just going into next week. I feel really good about that. I like having all those systems in place. So that's what we've been working on too, and that's coming very soon as well. And then, of course, we've started our taxes. So taxes for last year, we essentially operated for 5 months live. But I think that the deductions will be able to be pulled a little bit further back. So we've started our taxes for the 2025 year. It should be pretty simple. Our expenses weren't very high until the end when we started purchasing inventory for this year. So that's happening as well. So those are the business updates. We got the numbers updates. Now, something I want to talk about that's really important for everybody out there. John talked about this on Friday, so he was first past the post on this. I believe Beard talked about it, and Kevin had brought it up today. And this is about glitches and bugs on the site. Before you roll your eyes and you're like, oh, here we go with the glitches again. So we had users reach out, or people reach out to us and say, just as a heads up, we've noticed that we were having some problems, some glitches, and then it was reported by John and also reported by Kevin that people were reaching out to them because they're, of course, social media influencers saying that these problems are existing. So glitches that appear to be happening on the site right now, missing listings. So keep your eye on that. I do want to bring this up as a public service announcement. Shipping policies being changed. So the policies are being changed from one to another. I think some users had mentioned that in John's chat, that things were getting changed to free shipping, even though they didn't do anything. And then also missing photos with end and sell similar and end and relist. So if you do that frequently, be careful, make sure that your pictures are showing up. So apparently the pictures stay in the ended listing, but they are missing when the item is relisted. So please keep an eye on that and make sure that you're not missing any photos and everything is a-okay. So I've checked my account, nothing, no issues. We've checked Dave's own account. So this is a lot of this stuff. There were no issues, but there are some people reporting it. And I did read this in a forum just to kind of backstop this with something coming from another developer. And it says, we, brackets eBay, are in the middle of several large platform updates, including changes to promoted listings and listing normalization. Some older listings appear to be affected by these transitions, including image handling and policy data. We are monitoring closely and adapting as the platform stabilizes. So just know that that's out there. Be careful. I I'm not a huge fan of end in sale seller anyway, but if you do use that frequently, just make sure, do little batches of 10 and make sure that it's not impacting you, because if it is and you don't notice it, it could create a big problem. So just keep your eyes open. And a big thank you out to John Beard and Kevin and any other influencer. You're doing a public service, announcing these things to people so that they don't get upside down and backwards as we go through all these changes, because tomorrow is the big promoted listings rollout. So any of these kind of things that are happening, they may be tied to that, maybe not. I don't really know, but just be aware that that's going on. So I'm going to say hi to everyone that I haven't said hi to yet, and then we're going to get into the topic, and this is inspired by Eric Bressy. David Varner says hello. Good to see you, David. And let me know in the chat, is anyone experiencing any of these issues more so than normal? People have sent me emails with screenshots. So it's legit. It's being reported across social media. So I don't think this is a one or two off thing. I think this is fairly widespread, in my opinion. No blue shirt, says James. No blue shirt. No, not today. I got the green one on. I was wearing a black one this morning, but I picked up the cat and it had fur on me, so I threw that one in the wash. B-Nude says, howdy, good to see you. Junk Boy Thrift, welcome, my man. Howdy to you. Behind the bubble wrap, good morning, folks. Good morning to you. J.R. Rodeffer says, okay, back to English, says I don't speak Spanish. Bearded Picker says, late, ran over a water buffalo and couldn't find a towel. Can you start over? Primo Chemo says, I'm a packaging fool. Primo Chemo is packing all the weekend's orders. I'm glad you guys are all having great sales. That's absolutely incredible. Check out Primo Chemo after this at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Primo Chemo channel. Callie Debs, welcome. Good to see you again. Welcome, welcome. Snoopy Collector with the red hand says hi. Good to see you, Snoopy Collector. Welcome. Ms. Unites likes the warehouse fireproofing, the insulation. Yeah, it's nice. It does keep it toasty in here. It's very warm in here. J.R. Rodeffer says, I'm listing to catch Bearded Picker, one man versus the Beard. Beard is motivated. Beard has been motivated for 5 months straight. He's really rocking and rolling. And Bearded Picker says, Jen, only at 6,319 items right now. On your way to 10. Let's see if Beard can get to, what's a fair timeline? 10,000 by April Fools. 10,000 items by April Fools. Because you have them. They're there. I know they're there. And it's a flip. It says, people complain about glitches. These are eBay sellers, right? Glitches are just part of the business. Laugh out loud. No, I 100% agree. I just, I saw someone complaining that they had hundreds of listings that were missing photos. And that to me is scary, because we were just talking about that last week about creating systems to back photos up. Like Ink Frog does a really good, they have a service where they back up listings and everything else. And we were talking about that in here, like, hey, maybe that's something we should roll out at some point. Like, that'd be good to put it on the roadmap. Where does it fit and everything else? So when someone starts saying that there are some issues because of the platform changes, maybe that bumps it up the list for us on things that we need to do or we should look into. Bearded King Picker Alex says, now I got to go check my newer listings. Check them out. Do it. Yeah, just make sure. Josh Graff is crushing CDs in Oklahoma. Congrats to you. How's Alex? I saw you had a good sale. You had a $250 sale. I don't know if that was an old one or a new one, but congrats on that. Josh, let me know how your sales are going. Hope you guys are crushing it. David Varner says, how do you fix the pictures disappearing? I am, see above. You're doing well. Did I miss something? You've got good sales. You're crushing sales. David, I don't know, because this is an eBay thing. So, I don't know what's going on other than what I just read you. So, I don't know. I don't know what's all going on, but they've got a big rollout tomorrow. So I would imagine it has something to do with that. Joe says, howdy, Josh, do you have to have a paid account to use Flex? No, I don't think so. No, you can use your 10 free listings on Flex for sure. Yeah, I don't think you need a paid account. But I recommend, Joe, I mean, you don't have to have a paid account, but you'll blow through 100 listings so fast on Flex once it rolls out. Trail Cam T says, good morning. Good morning to you, Trail Cam T's. Welcome, welcome. Bnut says, weekend was okay. Did $500 in sales on 6 items, so that's cool. Yeah, that's really good. That's a good $80 ASP around there. That's really good. Andy Reno says, hello, Mr. Golf and chat. Did have problems, relist, losing pictures. Seems to be okay now. Yeah, I saw that. Other people had mentioned that in John's chat. Maybe they fixed it now. I don't know. Maybe everything is fixed. But yeah, Mr. Golf. We were talking about golf just before I came on. I'm really starting to enjoy the game. I really want to take time to myself to enjoy it, Andy. I really do. And it's healthy and it's fun. Bearded Picker says, my goal is 15,000 in 6 months. I think you can do it. I think you can definitely do it. Andy Reno says, question, can anyone here tell me how to add a dollar handling charge to existing shipping policies? I'll let somebody else get to this, but I know if you go to business policies in your eBay account, there is an option to add a handling charge of $1. But that tends to piss customers off. I usually just up the prices by $1 because people hate hidden fees. JR Road Effort Jen says, give me Flex and I'll catch BP. We're almost there. I think out of the entire weekend, we had one issue come up. It was super edge case. It was like, if you use, I don't know, Beard knows what it was, but it was like in the moisturizer category, if the item is like new, there was a UPC read error or something. I shouldn't even be saying this because I know anyone else who tries to build this software is going to have to deal with all this nonsense too, all these fringe cases and everything else. But we didn't really have many issues, so it's going to be very, very close. It's coming very soon. I keep saying that, but every single day we go by, there's less and less to deal with. So Kenneth Oro says, the only thing I'm experiencing is the graph not lining up, listing totals not matching. Are you talking about in List Easier or on eBay? Or is the problem that your graph is going like this? Because that's a good problem to have. Lag says good morning or good afternoon. Welcome, Lag. Good to see you. Jen says 5,883 listings now, have 4,000 or so media items to list in the next 2 or 3 months. That's awesome. I kind of like that, Jen, that you and Beard have a bit of a competition because everybody wins in those competitions. Joe says it does not show up on my account, so I just wondered. Yeah, we haven't rolled it out yet, Joe. It's any day now. Any day. So after this broadcast, Dave and I are going to sit down and we're going to walk through it. Then I'll probably get it onto my account. I'll spend the night using it, into tomorrow. And then we'll start rolling out the videos on the List Easier YouTube channel, which is List Easier U. The how to use videos, the Australia rollout, UK rollout, you'll start seeing those things come out as well. So Bnut says ASP is 68.87 right now. Nice. Craig Winnan says, I have over 4,000 listings and relisted about 90% of them over several days last week. I haven't had any of these problems. I haven't had any problems either, Craig, but some people have. I have not had the problems either. Good day, Josh, the coordinator. Good day, Timothy. Good to see you. Welcome. Kelly Surf Dude says, when is Flex rolling out? I thought it was supposed to happen last week. Yeah, Kelly, it just, like everything else, you set a date, you go to roll it out. We had it with the beta testers, and they found issues that had to be fixed. So sometimes those fixes are easy, and they're usually very easy. One was huge. And that has caused a bit of a delay. I don't want to go into it too much, but the age of your account impacts how you interact with the API. So basically the age of your account determines how your account interacts with eBay. So we didn't know that. we didn't know that at the time. So James or Scott would come up with an error that we could not reproduce on newer accounts. And then as we got into the meat and potatoes of it and did more testing, we found that, there are several, at least, account structures that have different integrations. So what does that mean? That means we have to reprogram based on the age of an account. That was a huge fix, so whereas before we're treating all accounts the same, now the accounts are different. So that cleared out a lot of the bugs, but a few little edge case ones came out where, Scott would say, well, my account is this old and I'm having this trouble on this category, on this thing. We can't reproduce it on our end with a newer account. So we have to figure out which age group it falls into and then fix it for everyone in that age group. It's a huge qualifier that had to be added into the back end, but now that it's there, we get it and it's fixed. So, and this is something that, it's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. So, but we can't roll it out with those problems. We got to fix it, figure it out, and then get it working for everyone. Kenneth Oros says, list easier. Craig Whitten says, I think missing pictures might be caused by not letting the pictures fully load before submitting them when bulk editing. That could be true, Craig. There was a person I saw had mentioned that they had done end and sell similar almost every single day for 4 months or something like that on these on items, and there was never an issue. And then all of a sudden now everything got ended and sold similar, and there were no pictures. So I don't know. J.R. Rodeffer says, I got 1,000 items ready to test Flex and one motivated seller. That's it. Good. Lag9 says, will Flex work on my quantum computer? It'll work 100 times better on your quantum computer. In it to flip, it says, I know this would change the document. I love that you're calling it that. But how hard would it be to add how many items sold? I'm curious about ASP, but I think I've heard you say that you do at full time want to fiddle with it too much. Yeah, so average sales price, I mean, I don't have it here. I could give you a guesstimate. The records, the record store so far, just to guess it off the top of my head, everything is around $20. There are some more expensive records, but I'd say ASP on that store is probably around $22, $23. And then on the other store, it's somewhere around $35. It's something that we could include, but we have such a huge haul of $20 items coming in that, it's going to land somewhere near $20 on probably both stores, I would imagine. But, it's something we can look into for sure. For us, the big thing is this number. This is what the document is all about. So, and also this number, because we give everyone the store, you can look and make sure that we're not sneaking $1 million items in there. Unless they're worth $1 million, we'll do it. That would be great. If we can get an Enzo Ferrari or a Bugatti or something for really cheap, I would love to put that on eBay and pump these numbers up. But unless it's something like that, I just want to make sure that... well, why did Beard call you Jen, JR? JR, why did Beard call you Jen? I called you that. You always put JR in your email, so I always just call you JR, but you could have been Jen. I don't know. But this number is the big one for us. So we're tracking this one. Honestly, ASP doesn't really matter to us because at the end of the day, we're buying in quantity and we're culling everything under a certain amount. And then the rest of it, we list at, what it's worth basically. So, but we can look at it for sure. J.R. Rodeffer said, did I go trans and no one told me? Flex is the poster boy for never announcing an unreleased product. I'm sure Josh will not do this again. Well, I don't mind. I mean, honestly, JR, for me, I think with what we're doing, it's important for us to be open and give disclosure. This is the same thing that happened with the software in the first place. So we were kind of racing to become first to market, and something happened and it had to be fixed. And we just didn't want to be in a position where we roll it out, nothing's working properly, and then all of a sudden everyone is like attacking, saying the software sucks, and then we got to rebuild credibility. So I don't mind, like, for me saying, it's going to be the end of the year, beginning of January 5th, and if it's a week or two late, it's just real life, and I don't mind. I would rather be honest and just be like, here's what's going on, because I'm under the assumption that everybody in this chat room is an operator and they get it. Like, this is how it goes. Um, and I just want to be open about everything. I don't want to be like, well, it's coming soon, but I can't say when. It sounds like you're hiding something. Every day somebody asks me, at least one, maybe up to 5 people ask me, when is Flex coming out? And I don't want to be like, well, it depends on this, it depends on that, because I'd rather just tell you the way I feel. But yeah, I mean, it's a week late. It sucks. It's the right thing to do. James caught a huge one, and they're like the mother of all things, and it was like a surprise. It was either James or Beard, but I think it was James, and it was like, oh my gosh, this changes everything. Beanut says, question, why is it that List Easier uploads don't allow image manipulations? Is this something in the eBay API or the upload format? It's a complicated thing, and I don't fully understand it myself. It's something that we've been working on, but from what I understand, eBay, when you build listings, let's say you use the bulk listing tool on eBay. eBay doesn't ingest those listings until they're sent to eBay itself. So in the eBay bulk uploads, it's being handled by a third party image host, or a third party, data host or whatever. And then that third party, when all that stuff is happening on eBay, where you're adding images, you're doing this and that, like when you add an image in the bulk image upload, or when you add it to a listing, it doesn't go to eBay. This is being done on a third party host. And then the third party host sends it to eBay, and then eBay ingests it. When the editing happens, so if you want to go back to editing the pictures, again, that goes to the third party host. So the third party only accepts photos that they originally had going through their system. They won't accept ones that go directly to eBay ingestion. So when you list through us, it goes straight to the eBay filing system. It's ingested by them. Whereas if you list on the eBay platform, it goes through a third party and then goes to eBay. So for you to edit those photos has to go back to that third party, and they won't accept anything outside of what they've already handled once before. It's a stupid process. It could be easily fixed, but it's something that we're working on, where we can build something where we can integrate fully with that third party host. But it's just another eBay thing. That's why. And that's why all the listing software out there has that issue. The same thing. Beanut says, wow, that's API no-nos across most of the industry. Usually apps on the older platform just have whatever the newer data dropped. Yeah, totally. Yeah. It was a shock. Beanut's a shock. And for you, I mean, you're a programmer, you would get it. It was a big find. Yeah. Kenneth Oros, a List Easier user, says, the problem I have is I can't build up my store inventory because buyers keep snatching everything up. I'm blaming it on the listings being generated and they're too good. This is a good problem to have. I love to hear that. That's awesome. I'm glad the stuff you're listing with List Easier is moving quickly. Good. But also for everyone out there, I've learned this myself. For List Easier to work at its maximum, your account has to be in good standing. So try and shoot for those high metrics of being a top rated seller and all that other stuff, so that you don't have any visibility holds or any trust and safety holds. Since our new corporate accounts here have these payment holds, it's really affecting what we sell. But because my social security number and telephone number are registered on these accounts, and my own personal account, it's impacted all my eBay accounts. Like everything I'm connected to is floored right now. So this is really good proof that it's important to keep your eBay account in high standing, but also when you first launch your eBay account, have muted expectations, because you're going to experience these holds and this kind of slow period as you prove to eBay that you are doing what you say you're going to do, which is important. Timothy Doyle says, is Flex going to have an option to crop photos before I list? Yes. Yeah, all the options that you have in batches will also be in Flex. Record Crate Adam says, hey, I trust all is well with you, Josh. By the way, what is your cat's name? I hope all is well with you as well, Record Crate. My cat's name is Linda. Linda. It's a very human name, but we just came Linda. So we had friends over, and I called the cat because the cat goes in and out, and I was like, Linda, Linda. And the guy from the couple was like, who are you calling? Your HR lady or your librarian? Who names her cat Linda? Ms. Unites Beanut says, image editing on eBay is performed on your PC. It's a JavaScript library. I don't understand programming. I'm not a programming person. I cannot get too deep in the weeds on the technical stuff. In its flip, it says, sorry for the typos. Typing on an old phone and can't see it. Well, that's okay. No worries. Don't worry at all. Sometimes I read so quickly that it's not coming out of my mouth fast enough. So that could be on my end too. JR Road Effort says, I may have to fire up my second 1000 List Easier account soon, or contact support to reset the original account, which was not available when I set up the second account. Thanks to Josh. Yeah, JR, if you want, just contact Dave in through customer support through the platform, and he can help you out with that. No problem. Bearded Picker says, Beard is old, confused two similar names. There, we'll blame it on Beard. JR Road Effort says, Bearded Picker is not as old as me, so maybe I forgot about the change. Beanut says, actually, I think the first eBay AI to market was something called Snap to List or something like that. I remember hearing about it, but never investigated. Yeah, there were some, like we had a very bare bones version of what we launched in, I think, September of 2024. I could be wrong, but that's around the dates. But that was a script. It wasn't optimized. It got the listings up, but it wasn't doing everything that List Easier does now. But it functionally worked for the store. I know that Walter Blake Knobloch had something out too, where, again, it was a script that he built for himself. It was a script that he built for himself. It worked with his store. It was buggy. It wasn't great, but it does what he needs it to do. And that's kind of what we had too. For us, the jump from September of 2024 to, and again, remember, I was not part of the picture in September 2024. So we didn't really get until the end of December of 2024. We didn't really decide, hey, we're going to build this thing. But the jump from that to commercialization was a lot. Now you have to have payment providers. You have to do all these risk assessments. You have to have all the security protocols in place. You have to have all the fail safes in place. User UX, UI, all this stuff has to be in place. The connection to eBay, eBay's API connections, the production API, making sure that we're passing all their audits. We pass all the audits to get enterprise level on the various LLMs, like all this stuff going on. So I don't know where any other company is or where they were or who started first or anything else. I know that when we were in launch, I was talking to Tech and Sports. He was in launch. We were in launch. We were kind of in doing the same thing, and we were just talking to each other over the phone, and it was like, hey, we're friends. There's abundance for everyone, and that was the kind of like, hey, I'm never going to say anything about you. He's like, I'm never going to say anything bad about you. Let's see what we can do. It's the future, everything else. So it was but we were around the same time, launching products. So that's the one that sticks in mind to me because him and I would talk, once or twice a week. Just basically, hey, here's the frontier and here's what's going on. So, but as far as what everyone else is doing, I don't know. I honestly don't know. McLeod Marketing says, question for jeans sellers. Do you want to buy some jeans? We have lots here. If it's a size 20, for example, the size will show as measurements in the size field instead of 20. Are most sellers leaving it that way or changing it to the proper size? So I don't know. Jean sellers will have to answer that. All I can say is that when the software fills out the item specifics, it's filling out for optimization both on-site and off-site, but that also means at times that it's not putting item specifics that are in the drop-down menu, which is okay. I mean, that's okay. It's still going to index very well on eBay, of course, as our sellers are showing, but also indexes very well off-site. So sometimes it's not in the drop-down menu. I don't have the answer for that, but if someone does, please get back to McLeod Marketing. Silverhair Stacker says, howdy. Howdy, Todd. I want to get back to what Eric Bressi said now that Todd is here. 5 or 6 years ago, I put out posts and I said, it's time to buy silver. This is, just stick with me. I know this is going to be boring for a lot of people and it's not tooting horns or anything like that, but it was very obvious for people who were in the market. So people who were in silver, investing, know about the market. When silver was in that $14 to $18 range, it was very obvious that that was a big buying opportunity. And when we did these videos, and Todd as well, Silverhair Stacker, we did these videos saying, now is the time, beating the drum. It was like the louder you were beating the drum, the more opposition you got. So people would say, stupid, it's never going to this, never blah, 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 blah. And I posted today, I put it in a post today. Now here we are 6 years later, and the price is going crazy. Now is not the time to buy, in my opinion. The time to buy was 5 or 6 years ago. This is a result of the decisions that were made 5 or 6 years ago. So now everyone's going crazy. You see posts of silver this, silver that. You're starting to feel the early rumblings of this thing kind of getting hyped up and going into mania. It's not the time to buy, in my opinion, or invest. Right? There could be a lot of pain. If you know the silver market and you know where it's profitable to mine it, and you know that silver is a byproduct of a lot of mining processes, this it'll peak up somewhere and then it's going to drop down again. In my opinion, now is not the time to buy. My opinion. 5 or 6 years ago, it was. What you needed was to trust that it was the right move at the time because everything was changing, and just relax and let time do its thing. This is the same with AI, and we've said it over and over, or I've said it over and over again, and I should probably just title the videos this, but you do it now and you build now. And then when everyone sees the results of what this looks like in 5 or 6 years, when people are buying cars and houses and all this stuff and they get all this extra money, which admittedly isn't right now because we're only 5 or 6 months in, but in 5 or 6 years, it's going to be very apparent that those people are walking away with the lion's share of what's going on here with e-commerce. And it's not just List Easier, it's other software, all this stuff going on with AI. But that's when everyone rushes in because a lot of people wait for consensus. But consensus is sometimes it's too late, or a lot of times it is. So if you start in 6 years from now, when you watch YouTube videos and you see the money that's being made, those are the people from 5 or 6 years ago. This is the same in reselling 2021. So the people that were on YouTube that were doing fantastically well and showing fantastic numbers, James, Tech, all these guys, all my friends, by the way, the missing part is all the blood, sweat, and tears that they put in for the 10 or 15 years prior. They knew that something was going on. They were early adopters. It wasn't consensus. When consensus happened in 2021 and everyone got stuck at home, everybody jumped in, myself included. That was not the right time. That was not the right time. That was to the end. That was in the mania part of the market. That's when everybody became an expert. people would come on here, start their business, and also be an expert in reselling at the same time. And a lot of those people have fallen off or they've been outed or whatever the case may be. But, your timing is important. Timing is important. And then time in is important after that. So this is a technological shift that's occurred, and it's a big opportunity for a lot of people. And if they stick with it over the next 5 or 6 years, it will pay dividends. It will pay dividends. I'm not just saying that. So it'd be one thing. I would be very skeptical if I came on here. I was like, this is the greatest, blah, blah, blah. Oh, by the way, I sell the software too. I would be very skeptical if I heard that, but we're doing it. Like we are doing it too. We know what it looks like. We're doing it too. Okay, so that was my time in versus timing. And I wanted to relate it to silver because that silver investment from 5 or 6 years ago has changed my life. And it's changed a lot of lives. This will do the same thing. It's similar to buying a house in 2009 when everyone says don't. It's the worst time. It's a depression. Houses are never going to come back. The people who did are laughing now. It's the same thing over and over and over again. And when you go against consensus, they call it value investing, but when you go against consensus, but it's right and the signal is right, it's just most people don't see it yet. In this case, AI, right? The advent of AI, a lot of people are afraid. Well, they're afraid it's going to take my job. It's going to do, that's just a tool. It's a tool you add to your process and it just makes things easier. That's all it is. It's not scary. Anybody can use it, but not everybody does. Less than 1% of the people do it. So that 1% will be the 1% winners later on. And it's not a scary thing. It's just a process. It's just a new process. That's all it is. So that, it's a very interesting time. And I feel like I'm as loud with AI as what I was with silver, as what I was with buying a house. And sometimes I get it wrong. Some people are made for brains. Some people are made for body. Unfortunately, I got neither, but I do feel strongly about this. J.R. Rodeffer says, it's cool. I'm impatient and ready to go. If you need it hammered with 100 batches, let me know. For sure, JR. Australia and UK, messages every single day. Like, where is this thing? I'm refreshing the page. I'm like, don't refresh it. We will announce it. We'll let everyone know. It'll say, probably even before I announce Flex, like if Flex in Australia and UK come at the same day, I'm going to have the banner is going to say Australia, UK launched. Just because there are people there who have like thousands and thousands of photos lined up, ready to go, waiting for the software to launch there. So we're going. Yeah, Missy Knights says, gotcha, spaghetti, laugh out loud. It's spaghetti to me, you're right. I understand it pretty well, but, even if I speak to Travis, the brain, and even Dave sometimes, they really have to walk me through when it gets really technical because that is not my strong suit. So thankful I didn't come up with this software or try and vibe code it or something because it would be a total disaster. Den Decordipo says, good day, Josh. Good day, Den Decordipo. Welcome. Binut says, Amazon uses a complete separated system as well for bulk upload. It's not the data, but the images can suck a ton of bandwidth. Amazon put the entire bulk upload partitioned outside. It's one of the reasons why an upload to Amazon can take up to an hour to consume and go live. I didn't know that. Like says, my mom's name is Linda. That's awesome. Linda the cat and Linda Lag's mom. Eventually you're going to reveal yourself if you keep dropping hints, Lag. Adam says, beautiful name. Give Linda a neck massage for me, please. And the cat's, I've never had a cat that was not, she's very nice. She likes to be held and petted, but as soon as you sit down and the cat's on your lap, it's gone. It doesn't like it. It never has. I don't know why. Ms. Unite says, JavaScript is a computer language built into your web browser. Got you. Ren Resale says, Josh's kids told us he's been cuddling with someone named Linda at night. Do I tell his wife? J.R. Rodeffer says, I thought I was done reinventing my reselling since 1981. Have done it many times, but list easier. Should make it easier, but 76 years old and still love this business. I love it too, JR. I love it too. I really do. I like it now, especially more that it's easier to do. But I was going through, I had some questions about some old photos that I had listed, and I went through them to answer the questions, and I'm like, man, I really do love this stuff. Like, I really do love antiques. It's never going to change. I have always had fun looking for them and finding them. I love this business. I really do. Bearder Picker says, JR, in 1981, I was 12. You win the contest. David Varner says, uploading missing photos as we speak. So David was affected. Yeah, see? Brutal. Silver Hair Stacker says, JR is older than me. Holy cow. Beanoot says, well, I looked. Snap to List does exist. I know nothing more of it. Laugh out loud. I shouldn't even said the name of it. I'm always worried that, not worried. Anyone who is solving these problems, my hat is off. Like, I commend them because it is a difficult problem to solve, for sure. Alexis, now that's old. J.R. Rodeffer was born in 1949, a very good post-war year. Yeah, and you grew up in the 50s, would have been a good time to grow up for sure. Lose coins. Charlie Goki says, I'm 70 years old. I'm the young one in here. Laugh out loud. Welcome, Charlie. Good to see you. McLeod Marketing says, thank you. It will show something like waist 36, length 30 instead of the size number. It does do that. It will put in stuff that's not inside the drop-down menu if that's what optimizes the listing. It will put in something not in the drop-down menu because we do have to consider that these listings are also getting indexed offsite as well. Behind the Bubble Wrap doesn't feel so bad about turning 40. Beard Picker is 56 years old. McLeod says, marketing, I just wanted to make sure it doesn't have a negative impact on the listing. I will leave it. It does not have a negative impact. No, it does not have a negative impact. Joe Smart says silver is at $85 and change. Yeah, nice. JR Rodeffer says, silver, now I am happy. Charlie says, yes, I'm old, better than the alternative though. Hey, any day on the green side of the grass is a good day. Timothy Doyle says, when you are looking at making deals, what is the average volume size? One full pull trailer, 1 to 4 Gaylords, a semi or a full semi. Yeah, it depends, Timothy. So there are a few factors that go into it. How comfortable are we with the inventory? Records I'm fairly comfortable with. I know them well enough that I know if it's a deal or if it isn't. Super Dave is very good at books. So he knows, whether or not it's a good deal with books. So it really depends on the inventory. Ideally, because we have an employee, we'd like to get a full semi at a time. But we've done deals that have been a U-Haul van full. We've done deals where it's just been a local quick pickup, like 10 crates of inventory. We'll just quickly come get it in our cars and we'll bring it to the warehouse. So it really depends. For us, 8 to 10 crates of inventory. If you're picking it up for, let's say, $500, but there's $10,000 worth of value there, or $8,000, it's worth it if it's a quick pickup. So it's really case by case. What we don't do is pick up inventory that we don't know, because that's a danger. That's too much risk. So we've had huge comic deals come across, huge card deals. Like, I'm talking garages filled with comics or garages filled with cards where they want to sell it. We just don't know that stuff well enough. And if that's all going to be $1 stuff, then, we don't want it. So those kind of big deals, if we don't know the inventory, we generally stay away. It's too much risk, even if it looks really appealing. There's a garage, like a double garage filled with cards for $15,000. And I mean filled. They're just filled to the top with cards. Tons and tons and tons of them. We just don't know the market. So we don't know what the value is. We're buying blind, and the risk is just too high. I mean, if it's really common stuff and there's a ton of it and we can't move it, and plus we're paying an employee to list it all, we could get deep underwater on inventory like that. We don't want to play that game. J.R. Rodeffer says it's been decades of market nonsense and now they pay the piper in silver, but they also call silver the widowmaker because every time silver does its spike, everyone gets giddy and happy and excited and they all put their money into it and then minus 10% days. So we got to be careful with it. It's a commodity. It's not, there's value there, but you just got to be careful, everybody out there. This is not investment advice. Bnut says, I could kick myself for not buying the commemorative sets from the US Mint when they did a Carson City dollar deal. Some of those coins have skyrocketed. Totally. Bearded Picker says, we have consensus on the PPP. AI, your eBay business. Yeah, it's now's the time. But and then you got to stick with it too. So there will be people who adopt the process and they blow through their death pile. I talked about this with Primo Chemo, where they'll have 1,000 items. They'll use AI. They'll list it all because they have a mentality that rather than building processes within their business, list easier is just a cash lever. It's like going to the ATM whenever you need money. So you list 1,000 things, it spits out all this money, and you don't do anything until you need money again, and then you buy some more inventory, you do it again, and it just becomes this ATM, bank teller machine mentality. Pull the lever when you need cash, and other than that, leave it alone. If you build consistent processes, it will be painful at times because you are reinvesting in your business. But in 5 years, the person 5 years from now will certainly thank you for investing in your business. Things will become a lot easier. Things will become a lot easier when you really only have to put, an hour or so and 2 hours a day or whatever into listing, and then the rest of it is in shipping, and it's spitting out a lot of money from the previous 5 years of work that you've done. And you have an advantage over other competitors. Eric Bressi says, James started on eBay 24 years ago when media stores were closing, and he knew what the future would look like selling online. So there's another great example. So you have these burdensome, Eric, great point, burdensome physical media stores in the mall or wherever, or standalone even with all these expenses. And you see that media is moving online now. Napster at the time, like LimeWire, Apple iTunes, all this other stuff. So clearly the direction was going away from physical media, but James said, I can still see that this stuff goes for good money, so I can buy this stuff for pennies on the dollar, buy it all now when nobody wants it, and I can sing from the rooftops that now's the time to buy, but no one's going to do it. And then they can all buy it from me later at a higher price when it's not as cheap. So, and this is how it always is. This is how it always goes. The people early see it and they understand the opportunity, and they will always wait for another opportunity because now they recognize what opportunity looks like. The majority of people, as in 99%, need consensus. They need everyone to be doing it before they say, okay, it's okay for me to do it too. So now that everyone's buying, for example, vintage t-shirts, when only a few people were doing it, those only a few people were making a lot of money. They're quietly amassing a fortune. When everyone started doing it, t-shirts are how you make money. Everybody does it. It has consensus. Well, guess what? You're buying at the top. It doesn't get any crazier than what it already does or what it's already at. Pokemon cards, sports cards, they all suffered the same thing. Used video games, they all suffered from the same thing. It goes into mania. Everybody looks for it. Oversupply, demand remains fixed, prices come down. So, Jared Rodeffer says, I work on buying private collections of 500 to 2,500 pieces. Bnut says, this is also the right time to get on the companies working towards AI internet, and I jumped. I thought it stopped doing this jumping stuff, but to get on the companies working towards internet AI driven TV and advertising. Definitely. J.R. Rutherford says, love Mondays. Silver market and stock market are up. Plus all the weekend orders. Life is good. Yeah, everybody's making money. Behind the Bubble Wrap says, I wish God made me rich instead of good looking. Life would be easier. Well, the rich part is up to you. You can do it, but it's up to you. What's the saying? When God I gotta think of it. When God wanted David to become a king, he didn't give him a crown, he gave him Goliath. So there are challenges that you have to work through yourself to get the things you want in life, right? Beanut says, see Josh, reprices for Amazon go through bulk interface and thus take time to go live on site because of the changes. Interesting. JR Rodeffer says, get rich slow. There is no easy money shortcuts in the long run. I agree. I know lots of people who have come into windfalls. They just got lucky. They came into a windfall. A couple years, that money's gone. But when you build the processes, you understand the market, you can truly build something with a solid foundation. And then once you get to a certain point, it's all about protecting it. No more risk. You just protect it. Let time do its thing. I'm going to skip the B-Nudes, the technical talk, because I don't know it myself, to be honest with you. Barry Picker says hi to Eric. J.R. Rodeffer says, young resellers have no idea how easy they have it, even so far, not to throw gas on it. J.R. Rodeffer, most people wait for a signal. So with the reselling, when everyone was at home, the signal was TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube videos of, I bought this for $1, I sold it for $1,000 or $500. And then everyone's like, they're at home anyway, I can do this too. And lo and behold, you go to your thrift store and you can buy something for $1 or $2 and you're selling it for $500. So those kind of signals, people buying nice cars, showing off, that kind of stuff, money, spitting back money. That was the kind of stuff that signals other people to do it, that, hey, this is really happening. So I think most people wait for the signal before they give themselves the permission to do something. Eric Bressi says, I guess this is afternoon. I've been up since 4 with the granddaughter. I got up at 4 too. I went and got a coffee. I couldn't sleep. I fell asleep on the couch. This was my daughter's birthday party with family and everything. And then after everything was cleaned up, I'm like, I'm just going to close my eyes on the couch for 2 seconds. And then I'm going to go to bed. And I woke up at 4. Throw gas on it, says JR. I agree with you. Throw gas on it. I agree. Run with it. Now's the time. Ren Resale says, I think the panic in our world with AI is misguided. You still have the advantage of knowing what to buy. An AI listing isn't going to make someone buy my left sock. 100%. I put comments in the Profit Playbook podcast about this, where people said, oh, great, now you have this great process, but now you got to buy garbage and you can only list garbage. And John and Beard and Primo and we all talked about this. And I got to go soon because we're going to go over Chemo's channel, but we all talked about this. A bulletproof, amazing process does not mean that you have to sandwich garbage on either end. If you put garbage into a great process, you're going to get garbage back out. If you put great inventory in, you're going to get great inventory back out. The process is just a tool that helps you. It's a tool that makes you more productive. It doesn't replace you. It doesn't change your identity. It's not a threat. It's none of those things. It's just something you use to make more money, and that's it. So, yeah, and we don't buy Dollar General stuff or, Bodyguard CDs en masse or any of this other stuff. And we'll pass that inventory up. We don't even buy cards because the majority of the cards are 99 cents or lower. We don't want that stuff going through the process. We got this great process. Let's take advantage of it and put good stuff through it so that we can build this business up. And with that, everyone, I'm sorry I didn't get to all the comments today. Document